Hi everybody, welcome to another Change Your Thoughts Today show. My name's Stephen Aitchison from PositiveLifeAffirmations.net, a program to help you change your beliefs to change your life. Today I want to talk about 7 questions that will potentially change your life. The questions we ask ourselves on a day-to-day basis are extremely important. I've talked about questions before. I've done a whole kind of episode just about questions alone and the questions you ask yourself. And the questions you ask yourself every day, there's usually 5 good components to questions, but some of those components are, they should be forward thinking. So the questions you ask yourself should be forward thinking, so looking into the future. It should give you motivation and drive for your future as well, and for your life. So it should kind of instill in you and kind of fill you up with energy and drive and passion. So those questions that you ask yourself on a daily basis should be able to do that. And it should also give you a direction for the future as well. So what a lot of us do, here's some of the things what a lot of us do when we're asking questions to ourselves. We ask ourselves the wrong questions. Like, why does this always happen to me? Why does shit always happen to me? Why do I always attract to bad relationships in my life? Why do I always get the shitty jobs? Why am I not getting promoted? See, what happens there, when you ask questions like that, your kind of non-conscious mind is going to come up with answers for you. So it's going to come up with whatever question you ask yourself, your non-conscious mind is going to come up with answers. And it doesn't matter if it's a bad question or a good question, it'll come up with answers. So if you consciously try and change the questions that you ask yourself on a daily basis, then you're going to get a better result in your life. Naturally, it seems kind of obvious thinking about it, but we don't really think about the questions we ask ourselves. And when something goes wrong, why does this always happen to me? Why does the bird always shit in my car? And stuff like that. We just ask ourselves crazy questions. But we attract more of that energy when we ask questions that are low in vibrational energy. For example, what do I mean by that? So when you ask yourself the question, why does this always happen to me? That is a low vibrational energy question. Because what you're doing there in your mind, you're thinking about all the things that have happened to you, all the bad things that have happened to you in the past. And you're bringing up all that energy from the past as well. So all the energy, all the bad experience, all that energy is coming right into your kind of present life again when you ask that question, why does this always happen to me? So if you flip it around and ask yourself the question, okay, what can I learn from this to make it better for the future? So it's a forward-thinking question. You're thinking about your future. It gives you a little bit of energy. It gives you a bit of motivation. It gives you a bit of passion. It gives you a bit of drive. And your mind starts to come up with answers. Or your non-conscious mind comes up with the answers to that question. And it will start seeing more opportunities. And that question, compared to why does this always happen to me, has a much higher vibrational energy. So that is the difference between a good question and a bad question. Bad questions lead you nowhere. They kind of tend to lead you back into the past and bring up all the shit from the past and bring it into the present. And the higher vibrational kind of energy questions will lead you forward from the present moment into the future, into a better future hopefully. You might go kind of stray on the path along the way, but keep asking yourself better questions. And so that's the thought for today. That's what I'm going to be talking about today. And I'm just going to see, excuse me, who else we've got in the house. So we've got loads of people in just now. That's brilliant. So one of the questions I ask myself a lot, and we're talking 10, 50, well throughout my life really, is, am I truly happy in the job I'm doing? Am I truly happy in the job I'm doing? So that's a question to ask yourself. And then the next question obviously that follows on from that, what can I do to find a better job that I'm truly passionate about? So that would be a better question to turn that into. How can I find a job I'm truly passionate about? It's forward thinking, it gives you drive, it gives you motivation, it gives you that passion that you need as well. And if you ask yourself that question all the time, your mind is going to open up to the opportunities that may exist out there, some things you might not have thought about before. So this is about kind of changing life with the questions that you have in your life and looking at the different areas that you want to change. And asking yourself forward-thinking questions or future-thinking questions on a higher vibrational energy level. And if you ask yourself questions like that, your non-conscious mind is going to come up with answers And they're going to come up with answers in the weirdest kind of places and the strangest kind of situation. You might be in the shower and you come up, oh, I never thought that. And you get questions arising from your non-conscious mind. So it's great to ask kind of future forward-thinking questions in your life as well, instead of looking at the past all the time. Why does this always happen to me, for example? Why can't I find a good job? Why can I never get a good boss? So hopefully you see the difference between the two types of questions. One's very low vibrational, one's very high vibrational. The second question is questions that lead on to other questions. So you have to first answer a question before you can find a better question. Sometimes, not all the time. So, am I truly happy in my relationship? Or my relationships? Am I truly happy in my relationships? And it'll either be a yes or a no, or kind of maybe. So there's only kind of three kind of possibles, but it'll either go on yes or no, and you'll kind of ultimately discover if you are or not. And then the next question to ask from that is, how can I find better relationships in my life? Forward-thinking question. It's looking into the future. It's giving you drive, motivation, passion to look for better relationships. And it's also making you think about the type of relationships you have in your life as well. So these questions can literally change your life. If you ask yourself these and consciously think about them and think about the reasons why things are kind of not working in your life. But don't look on all the past experiences as well, like I've said there before. Another question to ask is, how can I have a better relationship with my kids? If you've got children, how can I have a better relationship with my kids or children? Whatever you want to say, whatever your vernacular is. So that question leads you to consciously think about the relationship you have with your children just now. Or it could be your nieces, your nephews, any kind of kids you've got in your life. It makes you kind of consciously think about the relationships you've got. And asking that question alone, possibly come up with, okay, I could be spending more time with them, I could be sitting doing a little bit more homework with them, I could pay attention to their school life more, and it consciously makes you think about the relationship you have with your kids, which is always a good thing. And obviously I know I've got two kind of older boys, well, not boys, men, 21 and 19, and that was a question I asked them, how could I make my relationship better with my boys? And I always ask that. And it could be a case of your mind comes up with, okay, just go out and play football more. Go out and get them to join clubs or join clubs with them. And that's what we've done. We've done taekwondo, we took them to rugby, we've done the football. We've done all that together as well. And that arose from those questions I asked. How can I have a better relationship with my boys? And again, it's future thinking. You'll see the kind of pattern there. It's future thinking, gives you drive, motivation, enthusiasm and passion to have a better relationship. And it also makes you think consciously about your relationship with your kids, for example. Number 4. Again, this is a question that will lead on to other questions, but if you ask yourself the question, what makes me happy? In fact, I'm going to ask you that question just now. What makes you happy? So if you just leave a comment just now, what makes you happy in your life? Now, when I say what makes you happy, what makes you happy? Not that your children are happy or your family are happy, but what makes you happy? So I'm going to ask that question. I'm going to put that towards you just now. There's a couple of comments in there. I'll read them later on. I can't quite see them. Maria is saying, my family. Being creative makes me happy. Cindy Timmers, excellent one. Be involved in your kids' lives will make you closer to them. Yep. Friends. Tana Hooter is saying friends. True love, Evolving Jace, saying true love makes me happy. Okay, the comments are sticking just now again. Oh no, we're coming back. Living with purpose. That's a good one, Vivian. That's Vivian Soto. My pets, Sheila de Young. My pets make me happy. And that's a really good question to ask yourself, what makes you happy? Because you're constantly reminding yourself, okay, this makes me happy, I should be doing more of that. Being creative, for example, it's a fantastic, very high vibrational energy stuff. When you're in that creative zone, when your mind is being creative, it is creating opportunities, it's creating something different from possibly nothing in your life. And I don't mean nothing in your life, you're creating something from nothing. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a very high vibrational energy kind of activity to do as well. Spending time with pets. Again, that's another thing as well. If that makes you happy, do more of it. And think about the things that really truly make you happy. Because what a lot of us do, we tend to focus on the shit that's going on in our lives. All of us have got shit going on in our lives. And we tend to focus on that because that's where the drama lies. And that's where the low vibrational energy stuff is kind of focused. But if we kind of consciously move our thoughts and focus on the high vibrational energy stuff, like being creative. So it could be writing, it could be painting, it could be sculpting, it could be anything that you feel creative. You feel that creative process, and it's being in the creative zone as well. And obviously I'm speaking from experience here. Being in the creative zone, it seems to come from somewhere else. It doesn't. It seems to be a force outside yourself, and when you're just in that zone and you're just kind of creating, like I create websites, I create sales copy, I create writing, books, I create products as well. When I'm in that creative zone, it just, time disappears. Everything kind of disappears, just like you're somewhere else in the world altogether. So there's nothing more beautiful than being creative. Okay, was that number 4 or number 5? I think that was number 4. Okay, so fifth question to ask yourself is, how can I make more money to secure my future? How can I make more money to secure my future? So it could be thinking about pensions, it could be thinking about something you want to do in the future, and that question alone is a good thing, and it could be considered a bad thing as well. What I would ask, if you're in business in particular, normally in business I wouldn't ask that question. If it was just talking about personal stuff, and I've not got business, I do kind of a job or whatever, you can still ask this question. But in business, I wouldn't really necessarily ask the question, how can I make more money? I would ask, how can I help more people? Because the more people you help in your life through your products, through your kind of education, whatever you're doing, you'll make more money automatically. You probably don't think that just now. If you're just starting an online business or something like that, you probably don't think that. But trust me, that's what happens. When you ask the question, flip it around. Instead of saying, how can I make more money? And to how can I help more people, then that's when things start to flow in your business. If it's just in your personal life and you're not thinking about business or anything else, how can I make more money is a good question to ask yourself. You could even ask, how can I make an extra $5 a day? Or how could I save $5 a day? And $5 a day, putting that away for 30 years is going to be a lot of money, $150,000 or something, if I've got the maths right there. And if you do put it into a tracker fund or something like that, it could be $330,000 for $5 a day for 30 years. Now, I don't know if I've got the maths right, that's just off the top of my head, but roughly about that. So even thinking about a small amount, how can I save $5 a day? It kind of gives you drive, it gives you motivation, it gives you kind of that creative process as well. Your mind, your non-conscious mind starts to come up with answers. Number 6, and this is a beautiful one as well. And it kind of harks back onto the previous one as well. What can I do to make a difference in somebody else's life? What can I do to make a difference in somebody else's life? Now when you ask that question, that's a beautiful question to ask. What can I do to make a difference in somebody else's life? And that gives you motivation, that gives you a drive, that gives you a passion, or that gives you those feelings of you really want to help and you're really connected to other people as well. So that's a brilliant question to ask as well. However, obviously you have to look after yourself first. You have to make sure you're okay first, and then you go out into the world and start helping other people, and then you really ask that question, what can I do to make a difference in somebody else's life? And the last question, and I love this question, I do love this question. It doesn't follow the kind of 5 steps that a normal would for a question, but a lot of people think if they're in a particular situation and they think the worst, or they don't tend to think about the kind of best of things. So I would ask kind of 2 things when I'm in those kind of situations, when something kind of feels bad and it's going off. You think, okay, what is the worst that can happen? And if you can deal with what the worst that can happen is, then you're okay. Ask a question, what is the worst that can happen? Like in my business, if I produced a product and saying, oh, I don't know if people like it, I don't know if I should put it out there, I don't know what price I should put it out. So I ask myself, what's the worst that can happen if I make this product and I kind of put it out there? What's the worst that can happen? Nobody buys it. That's the worst that could happen. I'm not going to die, the business is not going to go away, it's just a product that hasn't worked. And that's the worst that could happen. That's thinking about kind of obviously business and business terms. But the flip side of that, you ask yourself the same kind of, it's got the same kind of energy. What's the best that can happen? What's the best thing that could happen? I could sell $1 million worth of that product. That's the best. That gives you drive, energy, passion. And even if it doesn't and the worst kind of thing happens, it's not that bad. You just go on, produce another product that's going to help more people in the world. And then you ask the same question, what's the worst that can happen? Nobody buys it. What's the best that can happen? 1 million people buy it. So those two questions seem a bit of a dichotomy, but they're kind of on a parallel as well, and they've got that same high vibrational energy as well. I hope that makes sense. So I'm just going to go to kind of any comments just now. I didn't want to make this too heavy. I know a lot of people are kind of thinking about last night and kind of what's gone on last night, and don't want to get into that obviously. But I just want to make it a little lighter, make you think about your future as well and the questions you're asking yourself on a daily basis. Okay, we'll just go to the comments. We'll see if we can get the comments up. Tina, Georgette Martin, I love taking pictures in nature and being in nature. If you love doing that, do more of it. And the next question to ask yourself, how can I make time to spend time in nature? How can I make more time to spend in nature? Brilliant question to ask. Okay, I'm having to flip back and forth here. Darling Dawn, the worst that can happen is a line my mum gave me all my life on how to gauge my life. If you're not hurting anyone else, just do what you want to do. Perfect, darling. If you're not hurting anyone else, just do what you want to do. Brilliant, love it. Catherine Angel Eyes McLeod, truly making an impact difference in other people's lives. Touching each and every soul I meet has been my lifetime goal for as long as I can remember. It truly does bring me to so much happiness and joy. That is beautiful. That's brilliant, Catherine. I love how you put that, how you've worded that as well. That's been your passion and your mission in life, to help other people in their life. So I love that. We've got any more comments? Madron, Edrin Matrix, bad thing is I lose faith and hope easily and I don't know why. Obviously you have to look at that, Madron, and just without, obviously I don't know any of your situation at all there, but you kind of have to look at why you feel that way and the different areas that make you feel that way. Usually there's about 8 different areas in our life that we kind of have to look at, kind of like the spiritual, the health, the work, relationships and stuff like that. We'll have to look at the different areas of our life and kind of feel what feels low in vibration to us, or low in vibrational energy to us, and makes us feel that way. So ask yourself the question, why do you feel like that? What areas of your life make you feel like that? And what areas of your life make you feel good, make you feel happy as well? You've got to kind of look at the two sides of it, not just the kind of dark side of it. So with that, Tony, one second, Tony Saka, staying away from toxic people. So staying away from toxic people is definitely going to help you. If you've not figured out a way to protect your energy, we spoke about that as well in the past, and I know Gina Sendef has spoke about that as well. Gina was on just now, and Maria Flynn from One Wise Life, she's spoken about that as well. If you can't protect your energy just now, or you don't know how to, staying away from toxic people is a good idea, or trying to stay away from them as much as possible. Sometimes it's going to be impossible, but you have to try as much as possible to avoid those types of people if they're going to infect your energy. So you need to learn how to protect your energy as well. Okay, with that, it's going to be a short one today. With that, I'm going to wish you a brilliant day, whatever you're doing today, and I hope you have a brilliant day. And namaste. Take care. Bye now.